Hey guys, my name's Eric. Welcome to my channel, Minimalist Musician. Do you remember the first time that you created something on an instrument? Do you remember how good that felt? Think back to the last couple of years. I don't know about you, but when I first started, I definitely didn't have much gear, and I was happy to create with what I had. I remember my first experiences recording were directly into my computer with a little like 1/4 inch to 1/8 inch adapter so I could plug my guitar into the sound card, and I was super stoked when my parents bought me this little 3-channel mixer that you could plug 3 mono patch cords into and come out to one, so I was able to use, like 2 microphones on a drum kit. I also remember getting a microphone and a cable, but not having a stand, so building one out of a chunk of wood and a broomstick. In the beginning, at least for me, I know that making music was a completely joyous experience. It was something I always looked forward to, and I always found a way to do it no matter what I had. Somewhere along the way that changed, and for me, music slowly became a career. It didn't happen overnight. I started playing gigs for money when I was 19, just at local bars and cover bands here. And I remember thinking at that time that was it, that, I'd made it. I was getting paid to play my guitar. And it was, it felt like pretty good money at that time, considering what you could make flipping burgers. As music transitioned from my passion to my job, it started to become more of a grind, and I lost some of that joy. My goals changed. My desires changed. My idea of making it changed. I started wanting more. I started wanting better gigs. I wanted bigger gigs for more people. I wanted more gear. I wanted better gear. It just felt like it became this race to accumulate the most stuff and to get to a non-existent finish line. I stopped practicing the way I used to because I realized I wasn't going to get to where I wanted to fast enough. I started putting off projects because I didn't think I had the right gear. I didn't feel like I could do my best work without that gear, and I think I became pretty complacent. I became interested in the idea of minimalism after watching the documentary Minimalism, directed by mattd'avella, featuring Ryan Nicodemus and Joshua Fields Milburn. I started listening to their podcast, and I started watching mattd'avella's YouTube channel. I think for periods of my life, I've been pretty good at implementing the idea of minimalism in all areas except for music. I didn't think it applied here because I thought if I wanted to continue to get better and better gigs, I needed more and better things. 2020 was a total game changer for me and for most people in the music industry. It completely turned everything upside down. Gigs essentially stopped overnight and left me with a lot of time on my hands to really evaluate the important things and to really think about my career, where I had come from, where I was going, and what I was in control of. One of the ideas I know I've wrestled with over the years and continue to is what is making it. And I think, 10 years ago, my idea of making it was either playing huge sessions in Nashville or LA or stadium tours, right? And that was it. Those were the only 2 paths to really making it in music as far as I was concerned. And I didn't see all of the possibilities in between. That idea caused me a lot of grief over the years when I didn't feel like I was making steps in that direction or didn't feel like, I was ever going to get there. I'd get really down on myself. I wouldn't put the time in that I used to just because I wasn't happy. Over the last couple months, I've really been able to take stock of what's important to me and reshape what my idea of making it looks like. At the end of the day, for me, music is about connection. It's about connecting to other musicians. It's about connecting to the fans. It's about connecting to the instruments and the art and the ideas. And I realized that I don't need a lot of stuff to do that. Think about this for a second. Over the last year, how much time have you spent thinking about or researching purchases, wishing you had other gear, as opposed to how much time have you spent practicing your instrument? How much time have you spent being creative? How much time have you spent connecting with like-minded individuals? I don't know about you, but for me, those two things were really, really out of balance. I was spending a lot more time thinking about what I needed versus what I already had and what I could do. Although I do still think gear is essential, I don't think it's as important as everybody makes it out to be. I don't think you need the latest and greatest. I think you can get by and you can become a fantastic musician and you can get great results with very little gear. I also recognize that everybody is going to have different needs based on what they're doing. A professional musician who's recording on records is going to need different gear than someone who wants to just be able to make some music with their friends, and that's okay. I also realize for someone who calls himself a minimalist, I probably have a lot of gear and I may potentially sound like a hypocrite. For me, it's about the process. When I look around this room, everything in here is something that I use on a regular basis, either to improve my workflow, to help with creativity. I've been pretty selective about the gear I do let in, especially over the last little while. It needs to meet some pretty heavy-duty requirements, either in helping with creativity, with workflow, or drastically improving the quality of my work. You can expect videos on a number of different topics, from recording to practicing to gigging, and to how I use my gear. In particular with the gear, I'm interested in how to get the most out of it. I think a lot of us are really guilty of buying something, using it for a couple of things, and then wanting to move on to the next latest and greatest thing before we've actually truly exploited all of the possibilities. I think that's really true now. You can do so much with so little, and I think if we all just spent a little bit more time practicing our crafts, we'd be a lot happier. For me, one of the big realizations over the last year was that I am a much happier and fulfilled person when I am doing creative work or when I'm seeing improvement. And I think actually breaking your creative process down into small pieces that are manageable is really important. That's something I'm going to talk about a lot here. So over 2021, I plan to spend more time practicing than researching gear or consuming. I'm going to share with you guys some of my practice routines. I'm going to share with you what I'm learning. I certainly consider myself an amateur in the grand scheme of things and in a lot of areas of music, but I am fascinated in learning. I love the process of learning and I love the process of creating. One of the big struggles for me in starting this channel was the idea that I was just going to be putting out more mindless content for people to consume. I want to see you spend more time practicing than watching my videos, that's for sure. I hope you're able to get something out of them. I hope they encourage you to practice and to create more. Please don't binge these instead of practicing. So if you guys are interested in creating more this year and spending less, stick around. I hope you enjoyed the channel. If you have any suggestions for videos, please feel free to leave them below in the comments. And don't forget to like and subscribe. If you take nothing else away from here, I want you to think about this. Better records were made with less gear. I think this can really give us some perspective. So just remember, you already have the tools you need to create what you want to. It's just about how and what you spend your time on. Until next time, stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll catch you later.